Cody reacts to Gunther's decision. Gunther rejects Cody's rematch. I was robbed. Cody explodes. WWE backstage chaos erupts. Cody vs. Gunther heats up. What actually happens when a top champion feels like the system just slammed the door in his face and calls it robbery out loud? And more importantly, what could possibly push someone like Cody Rhodes to that point in the first place? Because this isn't just another backstage disagreement or one of those creative differences that quietly fades away in a week. No, this one has that uncomfortable feeling to it, like something boiled over that was never supposed to be visible in the first place. So let's talk about it. Cody Rhodes, a man who's built his entire recent WWE journey on persistence, redemption, and that almost stubborn refusal to back down no matter how many times the odds shift against him, is now at the center of a situation that his fans split right down the middle. And when I say split, I mean the kind of split where one half is yelling justice for Cody and the other half is sitting there like, hold on, we might be missing something here. It all circles back to Gunther. And if you've been watching WWE lately, you already know Gunther doesn't exactly do emotional explanations or friendly debates. The man operates like a walking final boss cut scene. No wasted movement, no unnecessary words, just pure control. So when decisions come from him, they don't feel casual. They feel final. And that's exactly what made this whole situation explode. According to what's been floating around backstage chatter and fan discussions, Cody was pushing for a rematch. A chance to settle things properly, to correct what he felt was an unfair outcome or at least a moment that didn't reflect the full story of what he believes he earned. And from Cody's perspective, this wasn't entitlement, it was unfinished business. But then came Gunther's response. And it wasn't dramatic. It wasn't loud. It wasn't even a confrontation in the traditional sense. That's what makes it worse. It was rejection. Clean. Direct. No emotional cushion. Just a decision that reportedly shut the door on Cody's rematch hopes in that moment. And that's where things allegedly took a sharp turn backstage. Now picture this for a second. You've got Cody Rhodes, a guy who's already been through the emotional roller coaster of climbing back to the top, finally standing in a position where every opportunity feels like it matters 10 times more than before, and then suddenly, he's told no. Not maybe later. Not we'll see how things play out. Just no. That's the kind of moment that doesn't just disappoint you. It hits differently. It sticks. And reportedly, that's where the I was robbed reaction comes in. Now before anyone jumps to conclusions, this isn't about Cody throwing a tantrum or anything like that. It's more about that raw, emotional reaction when someone genuinely feels like the opportunity in front of them wasn't just lost, but taken away before it could fully play out. And honestly, fans kind of get it. Because Cody's entire WWE arc has been built on moments where things didn't go his way at first. That's literally the story. The setbacks, the long road back, the constant not yet energy he's had to push through. So when something like a rematch gets denied in a way that feels abrupt, it naturally lights a fuse. But here's where it gets interesting. Gunther's side of things, or at least the way fans interpret his character and logic, isn't emotional at all. It's almost surgical. From his perspective, and from how he's been portrayed for a long time now, opportunities aren't handed out based on feelings. They're earned through dominance, through consistency, through proving beyond doubt that there's no one else more deserving at that exact moment. So you've got two completely different mindsets crashing into each other. Cody, I earned another shot. Gunther, you didn't prove you deserve it right now. And that clash is exactly why this whole thing feels bigger than just one denied rematch. Because when those two philosophies collide in WWE, it stops being about a match. It becomes about identity. Now backstage reactions, according to the narrative floating around, weren't exactly calm either. You know how WWE locker room stories go, even when things are controlled, word travels fast. And when word travels fast, opinions multiply even faster. Some people reportedly felt Cody had a valid point. That if a performer of his status asks for a rematch, there should at least be a clearer path or explanation. Others, however, lean toward Gunther's side, basically saying that the champion, or in this case the dominant force, shouldn't be pressured into giving out opportunities like participation trophies. And somewhere in the middle of all that, you've got fans doing what fans do best, turning it into a full-blown debate online like it's a courtroom case. You already know how it goes. One side, Cody got robbed, this is unfair booking. Other side, no, Gunther is just being a real champion. And then there's that third group just watching the chaos with popcorn like, I just came here for wrestling, why is it emotional damage season already? And let's be honest. WWE thrives in this gray area. The best stories aren't clean. They're uncomfortable. They make you pick a side and then immediately question that side 5 minutes later. But what makes this situation so interesting is the tone of Cody's reaction. That I was robbed energy isn't something you usually hear unless someone genuinely feels like the momentum they built just hit a wall they didn't see coming. And in wrestling, momentum is everything. You can lose matches. That's fine. But when momentum feels interrupted instead of concluded, that's when the frustration builds. That's when storylines start to feel personal even outside the ring. And maybe that's why this moment is sticking with fans more than usual. Because if you zoom out, this isn't just about a rematch being denied. It's about control. Who controls opportunity? Who decides what's deserved? Is it the system, the champion, the management, or the momentum of the performer themselves? And Cody Rhodes, whether intentionally or not, always ends up in these philosophical battles in WWE storytelling. He's not just fighting opponents. He's fighting the idea of fairness, recognition, and timing. Now imagine Gunther on the other side of that equation, standing completely unmoved by emotion, treating every request like a transaction that either meets the standard or doesn't. That contrast alone is enough to make fans lean forward a bit more. And backstage, even if things didn't escalate physically or dramatically, you can already imagine the tone. Cody feeling like a door just shut too early. Gunther standing firm on his stance. Others trying to avoid picking sides publicly but definitely forming opinions behind closed doors. That's the kind of environment where one decision doesn't stay one decision for long. It becomes fuel. And now the big question starts forming naturally. Does Cody just accept this and move forward, or does this robbed feeling turn into something bigger? Because in WWE storytelling, moments like this rarely stay contained. They expand. They evolve. Sometimes they even explode into something completely unexpected. And fans already know what that usually leads to, the kind of match that doesn't need much explanation anymore.